Welcome back to Higher Insights. As you know, today we're talking about yoga with our guest, Leigh Evans. Well, we were just talking about the seasons and also that each student has to take it according to their ability and so on and so on. Now, you have with you some of the yoga postures. I suppose we chose them at random. Maybe if we put them on the screen, you can kind of explain what they really mean and what they are for, what they will bring about.
Okay.
So let's look at the first picture.
Okay. So all these photos were taken in Guatemala at a beautiful retreat center. This is a back bend, Viparita Dandasana, and it's a wonderful opening for the heart as well as the pelvis and all the internal organs. It's an advanced back bend, so one needs a deep warm up for it, and the gifts of the back bends are they create spaciousness in the heart and chest to allow the prana to flow more fully. So when we do a back bend practice, we often feel exhilarated and just so full of energy and fully vibrant and fully alive. And so they're quite stimulating and heating, Right. So a lot of people love back bends, because they feel really good. If you have your practice just focusing on back bends and heating poses, then they can be too depleting for you. So we always, in a yoga practice, try to create a balance in which we get the full energized action, opening of the prana, but also we want to restore the body and being. And we always end with some deep forward bends, which are more internal and cooling. Yeah.
Now, the next picture, that's...
This one is Ekapada Galvanasana, and it's a wonderful hip opening. It's a little hard to tell here, but my left leg is across both forearms, and it's a deep, deep opening in the outer hip. And this is actually one of our spring asanas that we do in our teacher training. In fact, all weekend I was teaching this particular pose and getting my students prepared to how to do this pose. And it's a very strong pose. It requires a lot of extension in two directions, so it really extends the energy outwards. The reason why it's a spring pose, we've chosen it for that, is the opening in the hip. It's right at the gallbladder meridian, one of the major points in the gallbladder meridian. And in the spring, according to Chinese medicine, the liver and the gallbladder are the organs to be tuned up and awakened. So in our spring asana series, we have a lot of deep hip openers for this reason. And many people find they get really tight in the spring, in the hips and shoulders, other major gallbladder area.
Oh, yeah.
So.
And the next one?
This is a variation of Pinch Mayurasana, which is a forearm stand. And this pose, well, it's an inversion, so the inversions are really the most potent of our postures because they reverse the pooling of fluids at the base of our organs and base of the limbs that come from gravity. So we all get everything pulled to the base. So, people who have varicose veins or like sluggishness in their organs, if you just turn yourself upside down due to gravity, the fluids reverse in the other way, and it really gives a good boost for your entire system, your circulatory system, lymphatic system.
It's a good detox pose.
Totally good detox pose.
Yeah, right.
And this one is a difficult pose. It's definitely heats up the body. So it, yeah.
Now the next one.
And this is the classic Pincha Mayurasana. This one's more difficult than the split one because split one it's easier to balance. So this one with the straight up is a little more difficult. And again, the same inverted benefits
As the other one.
as the other one.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
The other one you can hold longer though,
You
because
can
it's
hold
easier
longer.
to stay there. Yeah.
And that's it, right?
Yeah,
You can
that's
hold
it.
Right.
Good.
Now, again, in the old yoga texts from the rishis, I would say, it says that each step should be experienced for what the Bhagavad Gita actually shows it to be, the external quest to fulfill individual destinies. What do you see happening with the people that come and want to learn yoga? I mean, to go into the teacher part, I think they must have already discovered some things that lead them to want to teach it also. What do you find that to be?
People who decide they want to deepen their practice join the teacher training. And often they don't necessarily want to teach at first. They may have been taking vinyasa class for a year, 2 years, sometimes 7 years, and they've tasted this sort of state of kind of inner freedom, deep relaxation, and this like kind of melting of the barrier of themselves and the world and the consciousness. And they feel maybe this wonderful expansion of the inner being. And great benefits of awakening of love and connection. And they just feel good. You know, and they're like, I like this. I want to do this more. But in our culture, the vinyasa practice, because there's not a lot of time taken to really deconstructing the poses, it's just sort of like, okay, do this pose, this pose, this pose. They don't get to fully unravel their patterns. And so there gets to be almost like a stuck place in their practice. And they want to go deeper. They can taste it. They want to go deeper. And then they sign up for the training. And they do the first training. And it's amazing the transformation that happens with people. We've been teaching our 200-hour training for about 4 years now. And every single person has gone through a major transformation. Beautiful. And then the Sukhavati training, the more advanced training, it's those people who have really loved the teaching practice and want to deepen even more. And people who are wanting to really teach. You know, they may have taken a 200-hour training, but have had difficulties in getting teaching going, how to make that part of their lives, how to take the practice deeper into their lives. And the 200-hour training and our mentorship program and the deep focus on sort of holistic approach with Ayurveda and Chinese medicine and the meditation really deepens the transformation and almost like it stabilizes it. So that they're able to use these practices throughout their lives and share them with their friends and their students and their family.
What in general did you find to be the most difficult obstacle to overcome in doing yoga right?
Doing the poses right?
Yeah, and also the whole integration into everything else.
For the students or for myself?
No, well, let's start with you and then go to the students.
Yeah. Let's see, what's the most difficult thing?
Yeah.
I think it's tricky in our society to, you know, really live a sort of a deep spiritual life, you know, because we have we're like, we're in the business world in a certain way.
But also it's impossible to live a deep spiritual life. It's also taking some other things into account, like nutrition and things like that.
Yes.
Because if they have a total toxic body,
Yes.
then they even going, I think, into the various yoga postures and so on, there will be a resistance because the body and the spirit are actually too far apart.
Yes. So that, you know, that's why we need all those different aspects to explore. Yeah, I think for me personally, it's this struggle between, you know, this deep internal listening, and then sort of the loudness of the material world.
Yeah, the static.
And how to be able to, you know, live in both of those places gracefully. You know, how to actually integrate. And I think that's a big problem for a lot of people. You know, and it's sort of what we're trying to help them with our 300-hour training, the Yoga Sukhavati, is how to integrate this type of balance. And you're exactly right. How to bring in the nutritional aspect, how to bring in the herbal aspect, how to bring in the, you know, all this whole holistic way, so that it's easier to, you know, dance between the outer world and the inner world in a place filled with grace.
Yeah, because most people, the body is over here, the spirit is over there, and they are not united. With yoga, they unite it. That's the intention, to unite it. But it cannot be united if you, it's like a pair of glasses. If you don't clean them, you won't see clearly.
Yeah.
It's the same here. I mean, if they just want to do poses or something like that, it's not going to work because they didn't take care of the whole complete universe of their body.
Yes.
And do you find that to be a difficult thing for people to understand, or do they easily understand it?
I think they understand it. Whether they're able to actually dive into the process, you know, it takes a lot of courage.
Yeah.
It takes courage to want to really look at the things that are obstructing you, whether it be like, you know, in the body, areas that need to be detoxed, you know, or whether it's in the mind, that there are certain habitual patterns of thought that are basically creating a barrier, you know, and how to actually, you know, it takes courage to face these things, you know, and to go deeply inside, you know, and it's not necessarily something that everyone's going to be like, yeah, you know, they're like, oh yeah, I want to transform.
Right.
Everyone wants to change, but actually, when it comes down to like rolling up your sleeves and doing it,
that's more difficult.
That's more difficult, but those who take that challenge will find a deep place.
Right.
Of
Well,
balance.
we're coming to the end of our program. I want to thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you.
I want to thank our viewers for being with us again today. See you next time.